Hello there, this is Cindy at cindybdesigns.com. Thank you for joining me today. This is the card that we will be making, and we are going to be using the Daisy Lane suite that is new from the annual catalog last year, and that also coordinates with the Daisy Delight stamp set that came out as well. That is what we are going to be doing. It's monochromatic. I added in a little bit of smoky slate. I did not follow any rules here with this card. You hear me talk about the rule of threes a lot. I did each color twice, except for the smoky slate and Pear Pizzazz there once. We're going to be using stitch labels dies for that little heart that I love. That is Daisy Lane stamp set. That punch is a medium daisy punch, and that is the daisy punch that carried over from Daisy Delight of last year, or 2018, 2019, I don't know. But it all coordinates beautifully together, and those are our colors. We have Pear Pizzazz, Pretty Peacock, Call Me Clover, and Coastal Cabana. Floral Essence, perennial little flower centers, they've been going on everything this week, everything. And they go with everything too. So we are going to get started. As usual, all the measurements, everything will be over on the blog at cindybdesigns.com with a direct link to the blog post coordinating with this video in the YouTube description. I've been making monochromatic cards lately, and I used the beautiful Tropical Oasis bundle on Thursday to give you a sampling of like what we're doing today. I've also been using our in color 6x6 designer series paper a lot, and it is a staple, beautiful patterns, and I'm using two of them on this card right here. That bottom one is 1.5 inches by 4, and the top one is 3/4 inch by 4. Using my brayer to get that down nice and secure. Our card base is Pretty Peacock, top folding 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So we are going to start stamping our daisies out right now. That's just a piece of regular Whisper White cardstock. I'm grabbing everything out, and our Whisper White cardstock is the best out there. It is just so silky, so smooth, holds your ink really well. And I'm using my Stamparatus tool, and you've seen how much I use that with pretty much, everything I do. So I'm going to be inking up 2 of the large daisies. One is going to be in Pretty Peacock, the other one is going to be in Call Me Clover, and then the smaller daisy is going to be in Coastal Cabana. And when you see me apply these to the cards or assemble them on top of my card, it doesn't matter what you put down first, whether it's the peacock or the Call Me Clover, it's all going to look the same anyway. I double stamped the Coastal Cabana because I wanted it just a little bit darker. And now I'm bringing in our punches, and they lie flat. You can see how easy they are to open up and how easy they are to line up to be able to flawlessly punch your image out. I'm at a strange angle on a video, and I'm not normally over right on top of it like I normally would be. I did great with the first 2 flowers, but the Coastal Cabana one on top, I'm a little bit off because it is a little bit smaller, but again, I didn't want to be over on top of it. But it's so easy to use the tools that we have with all of our products to achieve the result that you want to. So I'm bringing back in our image panel, and I'm putting that on the Stamparatus. I'm kind of like mock laying out our 2 larger daisies now from Daisy Lane, and I'm putting down the fern there, moving it off because I'm like lining up where I want everything to go. So I just put a really, really light Pear Pizzazz impression of the fern on top of our image panel. And now I want to bring in our smile, making sure it's lined up on the Stamparatus correctly. And I want my focus to be on the daisies more so than anything else. But the smile sentiment is large enough to where it'll draw your attention in. And so I'm inking that up again in Memento Tuxedo Black and just getting it nice and crisp. And Again, that Stamparatus tool, perfect impression every time. I'm going to use it right now to line up my image panel on the back of the Pretty Peacock, or on the front of the Pretty Peacock card base. And you can see me put it down here, then I'm going to move it down, and I use those lines on the Stamparatus to make sure my panel goes down correctly. As you can see, I'm starting out on the left, making sure everything is okay on the top. It's going to lie straight in the bottom. But with the Stamparatus, I can pretty much pull off what I want with no grief at all. And again, this is such a fantastic tool and a must-have. So now I'm bringing back in my little daisies, and I'm going to, this is really important here to get the depth and dimension on your card. I use my bone folder to curl up the petals, but it's very gentle. It is nothing harsh or anything like that. And that's another great tool that you can use for scoring. Lots of options. I'm going to pull out the petals again, give them some more curve, more liquid adhesive, put that down in the middle, and I'm going to stagger them. And with this one here, I laid down the Call Me Clover first with the Pretty Peacock on top. On the back of the medium daisy flower, I'm putting a mini Stampin' Dimensional to give it more dimension. Yeah, skip and draw. And once again, I'm going to curl up the petals of that with the bone folder. Take off the backing and then set it down on top. And you can really see all three of those colors there. And it looks really cool in person. Nothing seems to make sense on this card whatsoever, but it's just that creativity that's so much fun. And having these kinds of products and colors to do it with. So like I said, we've had perennial essence on everything I've made all week long. Those little crushed curry floral centers. And they seem to go with everything too. And that is what we are looking like so far. I'm going to be bringing in the Big Shot with a piece of Call Me Clover cardstock, and I'm going to die cut out that little stitch chart from Stitch Labels, and I hope that die cut set never goes away. And I'm grabbing a glue dot. That's not how they normally come. I save all of mine from Paper Pumpkin, our subscription, and you see me use a lot of my leftover product on my cards from that. And I keep the adhesive. Figured out where to get that dot down. Use my little pokey tool just to rub it down a little bit to get the backing off. And then I'm going to apply the heart on top of that. So we are in the home stretch right now, and that's what we're looking like. I could also see this being made with the lovely Lily pad from Celebration and the die cuts, because you can layer that stamp set up as well. Or even the flowering foils that came out last week. You could just cut that out, fussy cut those images out and build them up. That's another card that I made with purples and Coastal Cabana. Haven't quite finished it yet, but that's what it would look like. But lots of color ideas that you can take away from this, different products that you can use that we have during Celebration, the annual catalog, and the Spring Mini. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed the tutorial. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you next week. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe, leave a thumbs up, and be sure to leave me a comment for any questions.